All right, friends. Well, we're back. Obviously I'm dressed differently because it's a week later from the footage that I shot on that last trip last weekend when we were out at camp in West Virginia, um, cutting firewood. I was having some problems with my phone, and I have also recently got a new laptop, so I went and set that up. I figured that I would go ahead and make sure that all my all my equipment is dialed in before I do a review. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to review the TUSCA HitchHiker and just kind of show you around how I have it set up or tailored to my needs, as well as my overall camping rig. I've been kind of trying things here and there over the last 9 months. Found things that I liked, found things that I didn't like, and I've changed them and kind of just fine-tuned it to where I have it now. And I think I pretty much have it dialed in. Of course, there might be a few small changes, but I'm really happy with the results here. So I'm going to do a review of the TUSCA HitchHiker and just kind of show you around how I've had it set up. So let's go check it out. All right, so first and foremost, I want you to know that I paid for this with my own money. I'm not sponsored by TUSCA, even though they are great guys. This is a purchase that I made myself, and I figured some people would be interested in getting a real-time review of it. So basically, it's made of a 2-inch thick foam. I'm not exactly sure what the R rating is, but I'm told it's high-density foam, and it's covered with a polyurea coating, which is kind of like truck bed liner. It's very, very, very durable and scratch resistant. Um, it is outside 100% of the time. I've had it for about 9 months. I think I picked it up in April of last year, which was 2024, and it's been outside 100% of the time. So through spring, through the dog days of summer, and over winter too. And it's held up, I'd say, exceptionally well for being outside 100% of the time. Um, the uh, the windows and doors that are on it, I would just call standard RV or camper grade quality. They work pretty well. I have had no issues with water ingress or water getting in. So overall, it works pretty good. Um, the fact that it is foam, some people seem to think that it's just going to insulate well like magic, and that really isn't the case. Now, it does insulate fairly well, but when it's really, really cold outside, you're going to need a way to heat it up a little bit. Your body heat just isn't quite going to cut it unless you have a very, very high quality sleeping bag that's rated down to like 0 degrees. And when it's warm outside, you can open the windows and get a good cross breeze in there. But if you're like me, who just cannot stand high heat and humidity, I need something a little bit different, like an air conditioner. And I do have that. But basically, it's not magic. So people do need to take that into consideration. It's just like if you buy a teardrop camper or an RV. It's not going to magically keep you warm or cold inside. You're going to need to put in a little bit of extra effort to get those creature comforts. All right, now as for the outside, you might notice here this is an electrical port that comes with it. It's already integrated in here to run electrical cords through it. It works well for that if you want to get shore power at a campsite, or if you need to power something outside from an internal power source, like a battery bank when it's cold outside, where you want to keep it inside and out of the cold. It works well for that. And I actually use this to pipe in warm or cold air as well from like a diesel heater or an air conditioner. And I'll show you about how I do that a little later. Um, the door seals up fairly well. Like I mentioned before, it is a basically standard RV grade door. One thing that I have noticed is that in really frigid temperatures, like you saw from my last video, if there is a significant amount of condensation inside, it is going to frost up around here. That is more of just an observation than it is an issue, because it is just foam weather stripping around here. But other than that, it seals fairly well. On either side, there are two 3-inch holes that have louvered vents that are also covered by a mesh screen. Now, I keep those plugged up most of the time, unless it's very mild outside. And I just use some plastic PVC 3-inch test caps that you can get for like $1 at the hardware store. Now along the top, there's also these two integrated roof slots that were, the intention for them was to use them to tie down with ratchet straps. This is the larger version where it was intended to sit inside a 5x7 utility trailer. And if you didn't want to permanently or semi-permanently install it, you could just strap it down with some ratchet straps, because they have little slots up there that'll hold it down and secure it in place. Now, those same slots too are also they're hardback, so it's either a piece of wood or some kind of polymer that is glued to the foam, and you can lag screws into that for a very secure hold. Now, if you try to screw anywhere else inside here, because it's foam, it's not going to hold very well. A screw may hold in place for a while, but if there's any kind of shear load, say even approaching as little as a half of a pound, it's just not going to hold off. Really, the only thing that's going to keep it in place is the polyurea coating, and it just won't work. Trust me, I've tried. So a lot of the times, what you're going to have to do, if you want to secure something to the foam, is through bolt it, and that's kind of how it is here with the truck bed mounting kit. You will see once we go inside, there are corresponding plates on the inside as well, where the bolts go through it, where you literally have to drill a hole through, and these two flanges or these plates hold it together and keep it from shifting around or anything. Now, some people have mounted cargo racks or anything that you want to the top of those roof slots. I opted for solar panels. So I have two 100-watt Renogy solar panels that I lagged into there, and I have them wired in parallel. So here is a view of how I went ahead and installed the brackets that hold the solar panels in place. And they're just lagged right in to this hard-backed wood or polymer here that's underneath the coating, and you just silicone it up. And I also used these roof slots here to secure in the brackets for my awning. And you can see here where I through bolted this holder here that allows me to attach this 5-pound propane cylinder. Again, it is through bolted, so I drilled holes through this. The flange on this side presses up against the foam, and on the inside I have some large fender washers that kind of spread out the weight distribution on the inside. Now, as I mentioned, the larger unit was originally designed to sit inside a 5x7 trailer, but it will fit in most full-size truck beds. The thing is, you have to find a way to elevate it over the wheel wells. Now, what I originally had this to do that, I would put it on 4 milk crates, and that would just give just enough clearance, which is about 10.5, 11 inches, I think, to keep it over the wheel wells. And that worked great for a time, but I wanted something a little as a way to give me more storage. So I switched over to two 48-inch by 20-inch aluminum dunnage racks. And that basically gives me about a 46 by 10-inch tall space for me to store things underneath here. I usually keep a fiberglass 4-foot ladder. If I need to get up high, that allows it. It's really easy. And I also have a deer sled here that holds things like firewood. The last trip I had, I kept all my my wood cutting gear in here, my chainsaw, chaps, and all that. You can hold firewood. It's great for pulling firewood in the snow or deer. That's what it's intended for. And I also use this too as a way to contain my air conditioning unit in the summertime, because the sides here act as kind of like a splash guard. So when I store it underneath here to intake and vent the hot air from the outside, and then the outlet of the cold air gets piped in through this port here. And again, I'll show you how I do that later. But I can keep the battery bank, which powers it, and the air conditioning unit underneath the camper. And if for whatever reason there is opening on the sides here, and if there is a large rainstorm, if I get caught in a rainstorm and the rain shoots down the sides here and splashes up on the bed, that the sides of this deer sled are going to act like a splash guard. So the water doesn't get onto the AC unit or the battery pack and cause a short or even worse damage. Now, as for the rest of the outside, the only other thing that I've done here, aside from mounting the truck bed mounting system, which is sold separately, is add these rain deflectors. Now, I went on a trip with this late September of last year, and we had a lot of rain. Fortunately, while we were there, it didn't rain too much. And the following day, it was actually really clear, which worked out well because I brought my hard boat with a buddy of mine. We went and kayaked the Cape River. But the thing is, when we did get back and I was trying to sleep, it wasn't too humid outside, so I tried opening my windows to get a little bit of cross breeze. But the rain did find its way in through the screen just a little bit. It wasn't anything catastrophic, but I made note of that, and I found I believe 36-inch rain deflectors that are made for RVs. They have some type of heavy-duty 3M adhesive, and they've held on pretty well. Well, at least this side has. On the other side, well, one end of it is holding pretty well, but a couple of days after I hatched these, I noticed that I went on one trip and one was flapping around. So I have some duct tape holding it in place. It's still, as you can hear, it's still not holding that well. So once the weather gets a little bit more mild and dry, I'm going to probably secure that with some industrial adhesive and just shore it up with some silicone. So really, this corner here is the only one that that is coming loose a bit. But the next time I get caught out in the rain and I want to open up those windows and get a bit of a cross breeze, if it's not ridiculously humid and hot outside, these rain deflectors are going to be really handy. So as for the outside of the TUSCA, that's pretty much all I've done, at least for the truck bed use. So let's go ahead and go inside, and I'll show you what I've done in there, just to kind of add a little bit of creature comfort and convenience. Okay. So the first thing I did is mount this thermometer here on the side, and I put it right there because the door is hinged to the left side. So when you open the door, my eyes automatically go to the right, so I can get a look at the internal temperature here as well as the outside temperature. Okay, and over here to the right side, I have a small fire extinguisher. I do keep one in the cab of my truck as well, but just for the sake of redundancy, I keep one in here. If I'm in here sleeping or I just happen to be inside here and there's a fire emergency happening outside, I can just grab this right away without having to go into the cab. And then, of course, up here, I have a small little shelf that has adhesive on it. I think they're designed for security cameras or speakers, but that just tucks into the corner there. And then I have a small little 200-watt electric ceramic heater. And I run that when it's mild outside. I did it on my last video, and it worked relatively well when it was very cold outside. It was forecast to be 17 degrees, but I ended up putting a thermometer outside the next morning when the sun was already up, and the outside ambient temperature was reading at about 13 degrees Fahrenheit. So that was pretty cold. This did keep me warm in here. When it's that cold out next time, I will probably be bringing my diesel heater, now that I know that it will work and I can rely on it. But for milder weather, I think this is going to be the way to go. That way I do not have to schlep over the diesel heater or bring additional fuel to run it. This is rated at 200 watts, but it usually draws around 170, 180 watts. And I have a 1500 watt hour power station. So, you do the math there, 1500 divided by 200 is 7.5. So I could run this continuously if it were drawing 200 watts for about 7.5 hours. To extend that usage of the battery, I have this little analog thermostat here, and I just have this velcroed in place. And I can set that to turn on and off at a desired temperature. It's not 100% accurate, but there's no integrated thermostat into this. It just has an on switch and an off switch, and that's it. So this is just a way here to kind of regulate that so I don't draw down too much of my battery. And this is just held in place by some neodymium magnets here. That's it. That's all it is. My original intention was to take it down each time I'm using it, but just out of curiosity, I left it there. And even just driving for the last couple of months and going on some trips where I'm going through some pretty rough terrain, it has not come off. So I think I'm just going to leave it there. And the original idea for the magnets was just so I didn't accidentally bump into it and knock it over. But it seems to be doing a pretty good job at just at holding it in place here. So I'm just going to leave it. Now, of course, I have a couple of these push button LEDs. They're just kind of strategically placed around certain areas. They're not the brightest. I actually went for a warm light because I don't like really bright blue light, especially when I'm in the middle of the night when I got to turn something on. It just kills my night vision. Over here, I have a little half-gallon trash can, just as a place to like put tissues, or you blow your nose, you got somewhere to throw your waste away and not have it rolling around and you're trying to clean up the next day. And this just slides off to change it out. On this side here, I have a little fold-out shelf. Now, as I mentioned before, this is actually anchored into the foam. I use these special anchors in hopes that it would work. It did work pretty well for a while, but when you put a little bit of weight on it, as you can see here, it's just starting to come away. So I'm just gonna go ahead and through-bolt these. I cannot find any other way to get it secured into place. But I do like having a shelf there. I use it to, set up a little butane heater, or it's a way to put a fan with the window open. And over on this side here, you might see as well that I have this kind of funky little bar over here with the binder clip. I have these little battery-powered fans, and it has like a little handle on it, and this is a way to kind of like clip onto that handle and just have a place there to have the fan blowing in or out with the window open. So I can have two fans going, one drawing air from the outside and one blowing air from the inside out. Now, as you can see over here, where the electrical port is, I just have this little vent for my diesel heater. It just pops right in there, almost like it's made for it. I mean, obviously it's not, but it fits like it does. So, when I'm running my diesel heater, or if I'm running my air conditioner, I will use this to kind of like direct the hot or cold air from the outside into the camper here. And then, of course, over here I just have a 12-AUG MC4 solar connector to connect my panels, to which I will have to run it outside of this and connect it to the panel cables, which I actually just temporarily zip up inside the cover for my awning. Okay, so here is how I attach a hose from my diesel heater or from my portable air conditioner, which uses the same diameter hose. I believe it's 3 inches. What I have here is just, believe it or not, this is just a vacuum cleaner attachment, and I just have it duct taped here. I know it seems kind of janky, but it works really well. Open this up, stuff that inside there. The duct tape kind of holds it in place. And it's not the most secure thing, but I haven't had it come out yet. So that's how I attach my diesel heater hose to put to put warm air inside, or to put cold air in from the outside when I'm using my portable air conditioner. the sleeping platform, let's talk about that a bit, because this changed a good bit since when I first got it. I originally started using air mattresses, but I have a love-hate relationship with air mattresses. You know, they either keep you too cold in the wintertime, or they deflate on you, and you know, they're just not comfortable to sleep on. You get too much movement. So I instead put this is a steel box spring that has a 6-inch rise to it. On top of that, I have a tri-fold memory foam mattress. And then underneath that, I have a 12-volt electrical blanket, just in case. I've actually never had to use it, but I do have that there just as a, you know, again, I like redundancy. And then, of course, a sleeping bag style cotton sheet to kind of like to get inside. And then I have Arcturus wool blanket. And lastly, I have the, I guess you'd call it a camp duvet. It's really not. It's just an El Cheapo, I think, sleeping bag that I got from Walmart. The zipper came off, so I just throw it as a sheet cover. And at the last trip, I actually was sleeping on top of the wool blanket, and then I used this as my actual blanket because I was stripped down in my underwear with both windows open, running that diesel heater on its lowest setting, and it was still about 76 degrees inside, which I don't know about you. That's a little bit too hot for me to sleep, but I can't complain because it was below freezing outside. So again, you know, this is a 2-inch thick foam. So if you have a sufficient amount of heat, it's going to do a very good job at heating inside here. Even when I wouldn't open the door in the middle of the night, it didn't take but, you know, a minute or so to get it back up to that same level of warmth. I almost forgot. I don't think you can tell, but right on top of this, here, I'll try to show it. Bring it up here. So on top of this this steel kind of like ladder work frame, this box spring 6-inch riser. The last time I used it, I found certain areas of the foam mattress were kind of sinking through the lateral supports, and I could feel it, and it kind of annoyed me. So I went and got two sheets of I believe it's 4 foot by 4 foot, maybe 2 foot by 2 foot 1/2-inch plywood, and I laid them across the full length of that just to give it a little bit of rigidity, and that makes it makes sleeping on top of this a lot better. I don't feel any give to the mattress or any sinking into those little crevices between the lateral supports. Lastly, if you can see in the back corner there, up on the wall, that is a carbon dioxide detector. If I'm running a little propane or butane open flame heater inside here, I have a way to detect carbon. I'm sorry, I said carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, CO, carbon monoxide. So if I'm running a open flame heater, or if you're ultra paranoid running a diesel heater and you're worried about exhaust gases somehow making its way into the intake, that will inform me if there is carbon monoxide detected inside here. So I don't die. Lastly, here there is a milk crate. I just use this to store some extra butane, trash bags. This is a little Covia Cupid butane heater, but it also has a couple of different functions as well. It almost acts as kind of like a dunnage rack because I have a one of those Harbor Freight Bauer locking toolbox systems. The top box, I keep a lot of my personal effects like extra pair of clothes, chargers, toothbrush, toothpaste, that type of stuff. And it fits perfectly in between the wall and the bed here. So if I want to pack it inside here, anything else, this milk crate kind of acts as kind of like dunnage to keep things from getting jostled and thrown around, especially if I'm on rough terrain, if I'm doing some four-wheeling. I also use it to take that aforementioned box that I use to store my personal effects, and I set it up on top because the hinge is actually about 2 or 3 inches from the top. So again, it's perfectly wedged inside here. So when I open it up, I'm getting a lot of resistance from the wall, and it wants to slam back down. So if I put it up, elevated over here, I can slide it out ever so slightly and open the lid to access the contents inside. I think the very last thing that I have to show you here is there is a little hook there. I think it's one of those 3M command strips, and that hook is just to hang up, t-shirt, a jacket, basically anything that you want to keep off the floor, because the space is very tight inside here. So if you get crap laying all over the place, it's going to be hard to find what you need if you have your clothes and everything just laying about. So I just put the little hook inside there just to hang up a light jacket or a t-shirt or a flannel or something like that. So that's about it for the inside, I think. Let's go ahead and take a look on the outside here, at least for my truck, and I'll show you how I've kind of outfitted the truck itself to haul some additional gear so I don't have to store it inside the cab or pack it and stuff it inside the camper here. So what we have here is this little swing out table made by a company called HitchHiker. Again, I'm not associated with them. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm not even monetized, but I bought this and purchased this with my own money because I wanted a way to kind of have an integrated table, and also as a way to carry some additional cargo, which is this. When you look on their website, they call this a cargo table. So it's a table, and it's also can hold, I think, about 200 pounds. And I loaded up way less than that. But I'm going to show you how it works here. So there's a little latch on the bottom, and this just comes out, swings in its way, and then you have a little pull tab here that will lock it one place. You can pull the tab out and have full range if you wanted to for whatever reason. But at least this way here, it will stay in one relative place here. It is a little bit wobbly because of the length of it. But if you're just using it for a camp stove, which is pretty much all that I'm looking for, or a place to put your water, a roll of paper towels, it's perfect for that. That way you don't have to, unpack one of those collapsible tables and set that there. And then of course it's going to be on the ground, so it's going to get dirty and all that stuff, and you're packing that away too. This just packs away easily. Pull the little tab here, slide it back in its place, it will go out. There is a little pin lock here that goes through to slide in there just to keep it from accidentally coming loose. Of course, it is also on a 12-inch hitch extender just to give it a little extra clearance. When I have the tailgate all the way down, it's resting on it ever so slightly. But I have the tailgate up here on the latch pins just to elevate it a little bit. So when I pack it down with 2 boxes of gear, like you saw in my last video, I can strap it down and strap it forward too. So there's no way that's going to be getting loose. And of course, even when I'm traveling like that, I will loop around the cable here so it's up even further to give that additional clearance and keep anything from inside the bed from wanting to slide and find its way out of here. This is a very small opening, and the large stuff that I keep in there, it's just not going to make it through. And then, of course, over here I have just this is an aluminum cargo basket that attaches to any 2-inch hitch receiver. I got this from Harbor Freight too because it was like $50 and it's lightweight. This is the largest one they make, so this allows me to put a very large wheeled hinge lid box on here that stores some of my larger items that I want to take. That fits it perfectly, and I have just enough space on one side to put a cooler or even a small generator if I wanted to. And this just mounts into the 2-inch receiver that I installed on this truck last year. And of course, well, these were always here. My toolbox, my truck bed toolbox, and I've recently got rid of a lot of stuff that I don't need, so I can keep extra fuel. I can store my generator in here. I can store my diesel heater on the other side. And as you can see, there is no rubbing. This thing got just enough space in between there. These turnbuckles hold the camper in very, very well. All right, so that about wraps up my review and just kind of show and tell of how I have my TUSCA HitchHiker set up for the way I like to use it for camping. So thanks for watching if you've made it this far. One last thing to note, I am going to be migrating content over or filming new content for a new channel that I set up just to keep things separate from my personal account. The new channel is going to be called Cygnus Outdoor Living. And I'll go ahead and leave a link in the description below for that. Or if I can, I'm going to go ahead and also put a little link here on the window, kind of somewhere around here. So I'd appreciate my subscribers if they want to go over there and check that out. Hit like and subscribe. I'm going to start releasing video content on there soon. And I want to thank you all for watching my videos thus far and just coming along this recent journey here as I try to kind of reinstate my my YouTube channel. So again, thank you so much, and I will see you guys on the next trip. Cheers.